In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, friends. I am Gordon McGee. This is the No Pillz podcast, Love Fully Scripted. And today, oh yes, today, friends, we're going to get into these 4 levels of a relationship. So I came across an episode of the Mel Robbins podcast featuring Matthew Hussey, and he's a New York Times best-selling author and relationship coach. And in this episode, I saw they discussed Hussey's framework for understanding romantic relationships, which consists of 4 levels: admiration, mutual attraction, commitment, and compatibility. Now, during the podcast, the conversation delved into nuances of each level, particularly focusing on the importance of recognizing the difference between level 2, which is mutual attraction, and level 3, which is commitment. Everyone's always striving for the commitment. Isn't that right, ladies, gentlemen? We're striving for the commitment. So Hussey stresses the necessity of open communication to ascertain whether both individuals are on the same page regarding the relationship's direction, which makes a lot of practical sense, in my opinion. I think he's on to something there that's just kind of common sense. They also explored the concept of compatibility, which was level 4, and its significance in sustaining a healthy relationship. The discussion then kind of grew, and they went on to emphasize the importance of self-love and setting standards in said relationships that we are in. And I think we can all agree with that. I will definitely link the episode below so you can go back and find it yourself and give it a watch if you so choose. But the reason why we are speaking about this today is because I believe with the owner's manual, with some insights from the manufacturer, we can improve upon this 4-level framework and maybe put it into what I believe to be a more practical approach and safer approach in helping you to find love, a spouse in today's society. I know, hopefully I'm not biting off more than I can chew. So before I give you my improvements, let's just cover what the 4 levels are so we're all on the same page. So level 1 is admiration. This is the initial stage where one person sees someone and admires them, from a distance. There may be an attraction, but it's unrequited, meaning the other person is unaware of these feelings. I think we've probably all been there at some point in our lives. Level 2 is mutual attraction. This level involves a shared connection and chemistry between both people. This level can be dangerous, we're told by Hussey, because the intensity of the attraction can be misleading. More on that later. And then there's level 3, commitment. This is when 2 people decide to be in a relationship and commit to each other. It involves a verbal or explicit agreement to build something bigger, better, stronger together. Now, it's important to note that this stage is distinct from level 2, where there may be strong feelings but no actual commitment. And this is a lot of times where people are getting caught up, per Hussey, in this discussion they had. Like, oh, well, you're in level 2, you think you have commitment, but you don't. You're in level 2 and you want to get to level 3, but you can't. You can't figure it out, and there's frustration and a lot of broken hearts, as many of us know, unfortunately. And then there is level 4, which is compatibility. This level is about how well 2 people work together in a relationship. That's what we're looking for, friends. Can 2 walk together except they be agreed? It goes beyond just love and attraction to consider whether their lifestyles, values, and needs align. With that out of the way, hear ye. All right, let's put this on screen. Now, here is what I see as a more practical, sustainable, healthy approach to these four levels of a relationship. And I think this is what really needs to happen in reality for it to be successful. So for example, we start with admiration. Cool, I'm with that. You're admiring from afar. Okay, you're admiring from afar. Feelings have not yet been revealed. You're interested. You're in the starry eyes phase. Maybe there's a little bit of shyness going on at this stage, and you're doing some research. I want to emphasize something here. I would encourage you to get as much information about said person that you are interested in before you reveal your feelings, within reason. So we're going to get past the shy stage, and at some point we're going to make our feelings known. Now, all right, so then we go forward to my circle here. This circle is called mutual admiration / attraction and mutual progressive commitment. I believe in order to find true compatibility, it needs to exist in this circle. There needs to be mutual admiration and attraction, or you have nothing going on. But at the same time, mutual progressive commitment needs to be understood. So, in other words, intentionality. If I am speaking to someone, especially if we are Christians, okay, if I'm speaking to someone revealing an interest, it should already be understood and let it be said as well, if it needs to be verbalized, which I encourage it should be, is that I'm trying to determine if you are a suitable spouse for me. Here's why this is an improvement. If you do not enter upon the relationship with intentionality, then it leaves you stuck at level 2. And what happens is you're actually open to sexual relationships. Now, this is a problem, friends, because you're going to be involved with someone sexually, intimately, emotionally, but yet you don't have commitment. This is a problem which Hussey's framework did not address. It actually kind of didn't necessarily encourage it, but accepted it as a reality. I am saying to you, do not accept that as a reality. Do not let that be your reality if you want to have a successful marriage or find a spouse. If you want to be in a healthy relationship that grows into a marriage, a courtship that grows into a marriage, you have to leave out the sexual interaction. You're saying, well, Brother Gordon, why are you saying that? Because you're trying to determine compatibility. And it's going to be very difficult to do this if you're in a relationship and you don't know what it's called. So if there's mutual progressive commitment, saying that we both understand that this may or may not grow into a marriage, but we understand why we are here. Our intentions are equal. And they have been stated and they are clear. Now, while that's happening, while we're there, we understand that we're already mutually attracted to each other. This is the discussion you need to have, friends. If you do not want to live in level 2, you need to run these things in parallel. Now, while we are encased inside the comfort and the mature conversation and understanding that, hey, we are here looking for commitment, and that commitment is going to grow and mature over time, potentially into marriage. If what? If there is compatibility. These have to run parallel, friends. All right? Compatibility needs to be housed in this bubble of mutual attraction, kind of goes without saying, and mutual progressive commitment that will lead to marriage if there is compatibility. This is going to remove a great weight off of your shoulders, friends. No more guessing. So let's play this out in reality. I meet somebody. Hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm so-and-so. We're friends. I'm interested in you for a romantic relationship. And I don't date. I court with the purpose and intention to actually marry you if we are compatible and if it is God's will. This is going to let us know what we are, what we're doing, and where we're going. The problem with worldly ideas and modern ideas, I should say, of relationships today is that everyone's too chicken to make the commitment known up front. Why are we together? If not, then you're just saying, hey, I want to just have sex with you, have my heart broken, and let that go on indefinitely, forever and ever. Yeah, good luck with that. Look how that's working out for society today. Terrible. So if I come to you as a man, right, courting, seeking after you, I've identified that you are a potential wife for my children, for me, and a mother to my children. I'm going to come straight out with it. Hey, listen, I'm a Christian. I love the Lord, looking for a godly woman to be a wife and to be the mother of my children, if that's where you are in your life. And I am wanting to court you with intentionality. So let's bring up some old school practices. Meeting the father, speaking to the dad, if he's around, if he's available, getting his approval, that he has no problem with you courting his daughter. I do not care how old you are. I don't care how old you are, friends. Getting some chaperone type level of involvement from other people. Ask your friends. Get their feedback. This is going to help you realize and recognize if this is God's will for you, if this relationship in particular is God's will for you. So we start with admiration. That goes and enters into a circle, a bubble of understanding that there's mutual admiration, mutual attraction, and then that we are both agreeing to a mutual progressive commitment. That commitment level is going to grow stronger if there is compatibility and if it is God's will. That is going to be determined by praying together, being in public settings, having accountability, getting input from people that we trust spiritually, people who are coming from successful marriages, to gauge and see if we're actually a good fit. And we're going to put all that together in prayer, and hopefully we come out on the side of marriage. If not, we exit this circle, this bubble, as acquaintances. This to me this is easy, life-changing. Okay, I didn't even say friends. I was careful with my words. Acquaintances. We don't even have to put the weight of friendship after a courtship, because like, hey, listen, maybe one of us decided to exit as acquaintances, but the other one wanted to be married. So therefore, we would just be acquaintances and not friends. Friends, friends is a heavy title. You're gonna be acquaintances at best. Let's be real here, friends. When I look at my notes that I jotted down here, my little chart that I created to improve upon these 4 levels of a relationship, I can really boil it down to just clear communication with intentionality up front. So instead of going into level 2, not knowing what's going on, having all these feelings, all this attraction, all this sexual tension, and all this other foolishness, no. We need to encase that, house that inside a mutual progressive commitment. With that out of the way, we know where this thing is going, we know what we want, and we know what we're looking for. Now we can start to, in a safe space, determine if there's compatibility. Whereas if you get involved physically, before you know if there's compatibility, you're likely to be deceived, right? To think, oh, I really like this person, I think there's compatibility, when there's not, because you have been sexually intimate with one another. You've put the cart, or the cart before the horse. Yes, you've put the cart before the horse. Friends, I'm telling you, if you run these things in parallel, if you house the compatibility and God's approval inside of known commitment, where we with the understanding, hey, we may not be spouses, we may just end up acquaintances, and that's okay. We're having that discussion up front. Let me know if you think that this is an improvement. Yes, an improvement on the 4 levels of a relationship, or the framework by Matthew Hussey. I pray that you see the light on this and that you would actually put it into play. Thank you for listening and watching. Hope that makes sense. Give me some feedback down below in the comments section. My name is Gordon McGee. This is the No Pillz Podcast, Love Fully Scripted. I'm signing off, and I will catch you next week.